Printing news Unpeeled at the courtesy of 3dprint.com. So today, well, what we're talking about is LocLab, and LocLab has been acquired by Hexagon. So the Hexagon was a company of working on all sorts of areas of digitization, including 3D printing. It's essentially has bought this company that was kind of good at making, in a semi-automated or automated way, inexpensive digital twins. So it was able to take 3D scanning information of whole buildings, neighborhoods, factories, cities, transport networks, the metro network of a city, whatever, and through a bit of AI, a bit of automation, and the libraries of assets, it could identify, let's say, for example, all the street lamps and populate that 3D scan with all sorts of intelligent contextual information. So rather than just having a scan, which depicts a building in some general way, you would be able to know where all the manhole covers were, be able to know where all the electricity points were, all that kind of thing. So this kind of population of this kind of empty, kind of like meaningless data, and maybe turning it into really, really meaningful data that can be used, for example, to better smartly plan where to put an overpass, or to better plan a bridge, or to better visualize where that bridge will be, or to better actually simulate using software what the optimal place to put that crossing would be, is something that is really at the forefront of this GIS, or this building and this urban planning kind of development. Generally, digital twins, we think of 3D printing digital twins as something for our machine, maybe, or our part. But of course, we could make a digital twin of a railway bridge, or an entire city, if you will, to really kind of plan that whole city. So we can't really, up until now, do this. We don't really have the assets and the intelligence to, for example, look at all of the traffic in a city, plus all the things that we can change, and all the things we can do to populate that city in an intelligent way. So this is a kind of an interesting product. It can also really work well with the HXDR product, which is a collaboration suite. And it's really kind of like showing that Hexagon has an interest in populating these data sets and populating these digital twins of cities or large scale infrastructure projects very quickly. And it's an interesting acquisition of Hexagon, of course, comes off the back of a $100 million, quite puzzling $100 million investment in Divergent. But this, I think, makes a lot more sense. I can really see their product portfolio grow in the space. The next thing is SpaceTech. So SpaceTech is a company been founded by Will Glazer. Uh, it's a 3D printed cube satellite company, generally speaking. What they want to do is to use off-the-shelf components, additive manufacturing, 3D printing, to support government projects, and perhaps also commercial clients, but primarily I think government projects or government clients in creating CubeSats that are fit for purpose. So they want to have like a modular satellite architecture that they can add 3D printed components to this and make this like a custom satellite for a particular purpose. Let's say a weather monitoring satellite, but then for a particular area of the world, or a weather monitoring satellite, but then for some particular bandwidth or some particular purpose. Now, this kind of thing means that they want to use an open systems architecture to make something that is quickly adaptable. There's not a lot of systems integrators, if you will, in space, and that one could really see how the defense community would be really aided by having small, taskable, kind of deployable, inexpensive satellites that could really do what it wants when it wants it to, and especially if these be really cheap components made with off-the-shelf components and 3D printing, that can be really advantageous for them. The company is based out of Florida Gulf Coast University's Emerging Technology Institute in Fort Myers, and I think there's a huge potential here. I think there's a huge potential to become a government contractor that's really able to develop satellites quite quickly for really specific needs. I think it's a hugely exciting niche to go into. The next thing is Glowscape. Now, Glowscape is kind of like a 3D printed kind of installation piece of furniture, kind of interaction piece. It's the print itself is quite simple, it's straightforward. Uses a couple of different Ingeo PLA, or NatureWorks Ingeo PLA pellets on a pellet extruder. Some of it is translucent, some of it's kind of like near transparent. Other things are using different textures. There's just white and blue kind of colors on it. That's because it's Southeast University Nanjing, ETH Zurich. So this collaboration, of course, kind of stems from this, porcelain vases and that kind of thing. So the item itself is a really simple print. This is a really easy thing to do as a print, but by integrating electronics into it, it becomes much more a living, kind of alive kind of space. And it shows us that, concrete printing is not the only game in town if we're looking at outdoor furniture, city furniture, art pieces that can kind of be interactive and stuff like that. This is a really inexpensive thing to make. So this could be a really advantageous component to make as well. Anyway, thank you very much. That was the news for today. My name's Joris Peels, and this is another episode of 3D Printing News Unpeeled.